Welcome everyone to the LCS post-game lobby after our last semi-final. I'm Sjokz, I'm with Ender, and I'm with Caps and Rekkles from Fnatic. Congratulations, guys.
Thanks.
Wow, what a series. So first question has to be, Caps, what does it mean to you to win this back and forth series? And was it closer than you thought it would be?
So we actually had a really good week of scrims. So I had really high expectations coming into this week. But at the same time, we hadn't played Misfits for a while. And they play a very different style than everyone else. And I was a bit worried in the sense that they play really hard for early game, and we were afraid that maybe they would roll over us in the early game. But at the same time, I felt like we are a better team.
So you mentioned you have the good week of scrims, and actually your coach Youngbuck tweeted, we had the best week of streams ever. So I actually ran that after you lost the second game. So that was a bit of a troll. Rekkles, same question for you. What do you think it came down to if you look at all the 4 games combined? Why was Fnatic stronger today?
Honestly, I don't even think it was close. I feel like the second game was on us, not on them. So in my mind, the series should have been a clean 3-0. And now we would be sitting here saying how good we are and how bad they are. But instead, it's more like it could have been for them, because in game 3, I think I shouldn't say that word. I think we messed up the draft and gave them Tristana Alistar, when I feel like Sivir is pretty much the only thing I could pick there that could match Tristana's carry potential. So in a way, it could have been 1-2 down, but I feel like at the same time, if we don't screw up the draft in game 3 and we don't int in game 2, it's a clean 3-0.
I feel like you're maybe, I don't want to put you in any position, but I feel like Misfits did fight valiantly today, and you don't have to say that to be a good sport, not at all. I'm just thinking back to even with the drafting game 3.
It's not like they're bad. I just think we're so much better.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I think the level on our team in comparison to the other teams we had in the semifinals is very
You're
different.
talking about the draft, though. Are you a fan of the Vayne mid pick? I know Caps is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you liked it?
Yeah.
That wasn't a mistake,
mean,
just to be clear.
I don't know if you saw it, but he actually carried
No,
again.
that last team fight was actually
yeah.
insane. Him actually killing Hansama won the game.
Yeah,
like, if that doesn't happen, you guys
So
lose.
we just asked Broxa about it in the interview when you guys were coming up, and he said that you were all the time trying to convince the team, like, this works, this works. Is it good to know that your team is willing to follow you, in choices like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can make like a gif probably of Broxa's face when I said like we should pick Vayne mid here. His face was a bit interesting, but yeah, I feel like a bit what Rekkles said earlier as well, where in game 3 we forced a lot of plays onto the Kalista. It's not like they were making the plays; we were forcing a lot of plays onto her and just giving her kills.
Game 2, you mean?
Oh yeah, game 2.
Yeah.
And the same kind of thing happened in game 3, where I had some XP KD carry in the first fight, tanking some Galio. So
I do believe we have a replay of that important comeback with Vayne. I don't know if it's ready right now. If it's not, then we'll look at it in a second. Because yeah, there we go. I don't know how much you can see here, but you almost die.
yeah.
So what turns the fight here?
Craigism.
Well, Alistar got a good flash on us, and we were really far behind, so it was kind of scary. But I managed to flash out with 1 health, and even then we're still talking about like how the fight is pretty lost and we should probably try to run out. But then Tristana jumps over the wall, and I managed to get the E off without her getting an auto off. Because I think if she got 1 auto off dash, I would probably die, just to the bomb. But she
healed you though.
Yeah, but I also got to auto with the blade, so I think maybe that healed me.
Also, like, if Hansama just goes right there and hits your front line, like, they surely win that game, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the thing is, as soon as Tristana dies, I was like Blade, Jinso, Vayne against 4 tanks.
4 melees.
So
no one could touch you.
It was kind of the same thing that happened the last fight. And actually, I think even before this fight, we had one really good fight. Or like, we ended up losing the fight, but we was really winning for a while. And it just came down to the fact that they had 4 tanks, and I had the Jinso thing where I just did so much true damage.
Yeah, it was insane. You guys waited, and when you do something like that, people reward you. You're the player of the series with 87% of the votes, which is one of the highest voting tallies I've seen on record. So, Rekkles.
Especially against Rekkles.
Is it deserved?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't know what to say. It felt like enemy mid was trying to play support and our mid was trying to play carry. And I respect them because they really try to play towards their strengths. Like, I would feel probably worse for them if they actually tried to put Sjokz in a carrying contest mid. But since they accepted the fact that Caps is just so much better and tried to play on other lanes instead, I give them my respect. I think it was the right idea. But at the same time, we already knew this beforehand, which is why I think it wasn't that close. Because everything they did today was stuff we already planned for. So I felt like the missteps we had was our own. It wasn't them forcing us to make like bad decisions like pretty much everything they did, we saw in the quarterfinals already. Same for the draft. So at least for me, it just felt like it was a matter of time before we win the series.
And I'm just really wondering how long it takes Riot to detect your account and ban you for like smurfing in LCS, because that's definitely not okay, and it's against the terms of service, quite frankly.
I was scared for a bit. I do want to take a step back. Rekkles, for you, you were one of our big focal points the entire year, stepping down from your own choice, stepping on the bench. And then how did you experience kind of the weeks leading up to the playoffs, and what did it mean to you to start here today?
I wasn't surprised to start because after all, it's kind of AD carry meta again. I mean, I even feel like I can 1v9 like usual when it comes to late game. So in a way, it feels like Spring Split all over again. But at the same time, since I took a break, it was harder to get back into the team and kind of like bring my teammates on board with the idea for playing for me, because they were so used to having Bwipo on a safe carry or a safe mage where you could just wave clear and then run mid with everything they have. Meanwhile, when they have me, they have to, I mean, give me at least something to work with. So in the beginning, it was quite hard, not only for me because I was rusty, but also for the teammates around me to like learn how we have to do things now. But I think 2 weeks was more than enough time. And especially with us doing it for like an entire Spring Split, there wasn't a big problem. We figured out after like 3 days, and then ever since then, we've just been practicing the same thing over and over. So
that's actually what I was very interested in, because when I think back to 2017 Fnatic, you guys were kind of all over the place, right? And Caps was definitely still learning. You still had a great summer split. And then in spring, it was all working because it was Caps and Rekkles, or Caps or Rekkles, and it always worked. But this split, because of the meta, it was all Caps all the time. How was it different for you that all of a sudden the big carry in the bottom lane also came back and things changed?
So I really liked that first, actually, because no one expected it. I feel like there was a lot of games where people were disrespecting, and they were like dying to every single gank, and Hylissang would just play Pyke and we would win every game. But over time, people got more used to our style of play, where we would just gank mid and they would say, maybe you should stay at tier 2, you know, so any mid laner. And then it became a bit harder to win because people got used to it, which is why it's nice that we have multiple different ways of playing, because at the same time, you can also say maybe people got used to us ganking bot lane with Tristana. But if we play multiple different things, they can't just play defensive everywhere. Someone has to play aggressive, and if we attack that person, we would be able to win.
Is that where kind of the over-aggression sometimes came from in the first couple of games that also led to the deficit in game 2?
I mean, I think game 2, yeah, we tried a bit too hard to go for the gank. I think especially because of the lethal tempo, procced on Kalista, and she was able to free hit. They turned it around, and they TP'd and stuff like this. But yeah, we definitely have to improve our different styles.
I just feel like in game 2, we had the plan before the game to not gank bot.
Yeah.
Like we already said before the game, just don't gank bot, play through mid, because they don't play through mid. They just send all their members on Hans' lane. Basically what we did last year. Like they're basically 2017 Fnatic, where Hans is on a side lane, Mikyx is behind him in a brush, and Maxlor is on the same side. So our whole plan for today was to play on Senkuk's lane, and we did that in game 1, which worked out really well. I don't think they had any chances in game 1 to win. And then in game 2, we had the same plan. But then we called for the lane gank at like level 4, level 3 maybe, and we screwed that up. And that's when we start playing into Misfits' way of play. But at the same time, we could have just not done it. Like we could have just farmed it out, and then Caps would have probably carried on Corki. So
I was thinking like that one game, there was one time where they called me on top lane, and I did like one auto and ult, and I almost one-shot Kalista.
Yeah.
And at that time, she was like 6-0.
Actually, we could have won the second game. Even with 3 inhibs down, I think we could have still won the game.
Yeah, I mean, even then, it was like somewhat close, it felt like. And I feel like if we didn't just give 7 kills in 10 minutes or something like this, it was really our game to win.
Do you think, Rekkles, in summary, that 9 times out of 10, Fnatic is just a better team than Misfits, and this is why you won today?
Yeah, I would say so. I wasn't really surprised that we were better. I could feel it already in game 1, that they didn't really have much to offer other than what we already saw. So it felt like, as I said before, like a matter of time before we would take over the series. But then after game 2, obviously, we got a bit scared because we were actually the ones that lost the game. It wasn't like they won it. So I think most people got scared there. So we even swapped sides when I don't think we should have swapped sides. Like we had side choice in game 3, but we went red. But I think we should have stayed blue. But we just kind of panicked after game 2 when everyone ran it down. So we chose red instead. And then we had a really bad draft because we didn't plan for much red side. At least in this specific scenario, when we would ban Kalista Draven, they would first pick Tristana. This is a very unlikely scenario. So I think we just put ourselves in that spot. And if we had to do it all over again, I think game two doesn't happen because it's kind of weird, no? I never really saw our team do that before. At least when
It
I'm
was
playing.
weird. You never
it's never
entered
happened.
that hard in the
Yeah.
first 15
It's
seconds.
never happened.
That was the Splice game. That was the Splice
Oh,
game.
there
That
was
was-
a
yeah, yeah,
Splice
no,
game.
I remember that one.
That one was
I
kind
was
of
really
the same.
surprised when it happened. I had no idea what was going on because I was one of them who were
Yeah,
hinting
and
as
you
well.
guys kept like going in.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
very
because it was
surprising.
especially funny because we kept thinking, oh, you guys are drafting these late game team
Yeah.
fight comps. So if you just go 0 kills for 20 minutes, you guys automatically win the game. But then you kept trying to match that Misfits aggression, and that's where you sort of like both got dragged down and are fighting every 30 seconds, and
That's
was
how they want to play.
entertaining.
and that's
so.
how they want to play.
It was super entertaining, though. I think, you know, in terms of entertainment, right up there. So let's look forward now. You guys are going to Madrid, not for the third place match, but for the final. This is your second consecutive final, and you will be up versus Schalke 04. So, Caps, last split in spring, you guys won. You and Rekkles were on PGL, and I asked you, what are you going to do to Perks, right? So that's history.
I hope we prepped something for this.
Now you're up versus Nuke Duck. You have your chance. What do you want to say
Is
to
it
your
the year of the
opponent?
duck?
I mean, I don't know if I have to necessarily do something new.
No.
As far as my memory goes, I have never lost a game to Nuke Dog ever. The only game I ever lost to him was when he was playing support. So unless we see Vendor mid lane, or maybe a little Lulu mid lane, I doubt we will end up losing to them.
All right, great. Glad we got that out of the way. I do want to ask you about the matchup without the Sjokz. He is known for having that super big and deep champion pool, but you have some aces up your sleeve as well. We saw the Vayne today. We saw the Wukong. Do you think that might be an issue, that he might surprise you at all?
Well, I actually feel really confident going up against Schalke. I think it's the team we are the most comfortable of the last 4 teams playing against, or the other 3. And the reason is mostly that they don't play super crazy like Misfits. They won't have any completely crazy champion drafts. I mean, maybe Nuke Dog will pull out something random, but it's not like their whole style of play is like really early game focused or anything. So I think we will be really comfortable going up against Schalke because I think it will be slow games, and I think we will always win that slow game against them.
Did you see yesterday? Because Schalke played early game to the max. Are you convinced they're going to play slow?
Wait, they play early?
They played it, yeah, because
Yesterday.
it was really interesting because against Splice,
You mean
they
the
took
corner
it
games,
super
right?
slow. But then against Vitality, they went for a bunch of early fights. It's almost like they matched the style of the team they play against. So that's why I'm sort of curious to see how they plan for you guys, because even though you guys were drafting for late game, you were still trying to play like pretty fast tempo gameplay. So
I guess you didn't review the series in depth yet.
No,
We did
so
watch
can
it though,
tell you.
but I didn't feel like it was early game from Schalke. I felt like Vitality were trying to play early game, but they failed.
and Sjokz did a really good job of like shutting them down with like vision and
I mean, they weren't playing
counter-ganks,
bad, but
stuff
it
like
didn't
that.
feel like Schalke were forcing many plays. It felt like Vitality forced a play, and then Schalke answered by going on the other side or ganking mid in a couple of cases, I think.
Yeah.
But I also
So
think
I wouldn't say that like hard commit for the early game. I feel like Schalke plays like us, but worse. So I agree with Caps. It should be an easier game than against Misfits or Vitality, who play much different. And we have to prepare these very specific scenarios in draft. Like today, for example, you saw us ban stuff like Draven, Kalista, and Malzahar almost in every game. And that is not normal. That is not something you do against any team.
No.
And I don't think against Schalke we need to think out of the box when it comes to draft. I think we can just contest the OP champions and then play the game from there.
You seem more confident and relaxed to me than you did before you guys ended up playing G2, and that was a 3-0. I think you just feel very relaxed to me right now. It just feels like
Oh.
everything is going as planned. I knew we were going to win today. Give us a peek into the mind of Rekkles. Is everything fine and dandy?
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like when I watched Misfits, they weren't the team that I was scared of. I was actually mostly scared of Vitality, but now we don't even have to play them, so that's.
Well, I
pretty good.
mostly wanted to point out you were confident in your own ability to
Oh
play as
yeah,
well as you did.
definitely. I mean, it's not like I stopped playing League and then I walked on stage today and wondered what I was gonna pick. I actually had everything planned out. You know, like Tristana, Sivir, very unique champions of mine. So I felt very comfortable when I was playing. I think game 2, I obviously ran it down, but in the other games I did my job. Even played the Sivir versus Tristana Alistar matchup, which
Yeah.
is basically unplayable. So I'm pretty happy with my performance. I feel like if I go up against Upset, he's probably a better ADC, but I think Mikyx is better than Vander. So all in all, it should be easier. Because I think support has more impact than AD in terms of laning at least.
Ender, give us a primer. Upset versus Rekkles. What do you think?
Oh, Upset versus Rekkles. I'm waiting for 5v5 team fights.
Yeah,
Because I don't think laning phase anything happens. You guys, like, both supports go roam mid lane, try to get their respective players ahead. It comes down to the 5v5 where, like, you're going to be playing Tristana, jumping forward. He's going to be playing Ezreal, jumping forward. And it really just comes down to that team fight execution and who can step it up even higher. Because, like, if you looked at Upset series yesterday, his, like, DPM was insane. He was going, like, super aggressive. And you did very similar things in game 1 was the best. So I'm
He seemed really uncomfortable off Ezreal though, so I'm not sure. I'm buying it.
I
saw his
You're not
Ezreal
holding
games,
any punches.
and I thought like in game 1, for example, played super good. Game 2, I mean the game was kind of won without him, so he didn't really have to do much. But when he was put on, I know game 4 he was Jhin. What was he playing in game 3? You remember?
Oh.
Was there a Kai'Sa? No, it was banned.
Oh, it was Kai'Sa. Yeah, it was Kai'Sa. Yeah. And in game 3, he got completely overrun by the Draven. In game 4, he wasn't really doing much either. I think in the late game, he obviously played good, and that's when he shines anyways. So that didn't come as a surprise. But it did seem, though, when he wasn't playing that role, that he didn't really know what to go for. So he went for a blind Kai'Sa and a Jhin.
Do you disagree with him being the first all-pro AD carry?
Oh, no, definitely not.
Okay.
I think we voted him as well. I mean, we do, like when this voting thing happens, we do player by player. So I vote for AD carries. Cavs do the mid laners, for example. And I'm pretty sure I put Upset first, Hans second, and Attila third.
Something like this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I put it like that. So I'm not surprised that he's shining in these games. I think, I mean, already in spring, he was one of the best already. He just had these moments where he would like drop the ball, maybe panic a little bit because it's a stage game. It's a lot more slow. No one is really forcing the play. So maybe you feel like you have to do it yourself. And that's when he got caught a lot.
Yeah, and in summer specifically, the regular split, it was the sort of second half where Sjokz started tearing it up and winning almost all their games. And it was him stepping up in the late game. It was never about winning lane for him. He actually just steps back and loses Siesta Tower
why I
against
think-
pressure.
To you,
Yeah, exactly. That's
He just
like us.
plays the late game, and he's so good at executing in
The
those high
fact that
intensity
it's very
moments.
similar could mean to me that this will be fantastic matchup between
Good
you
team
guys.
fights, probably.
Yeah, in the team fights, if you guys both play to the top of your ability, you probably think, well, obviously I'm better because I'm more experienced. But I do want to see what he does, though.
I think Upset is going to be hard.
Okay, good.
I mean, Hans was already hard. So
Yeah.
since I consider Upset better, it should be harder.
Okay.
It's like different though, because Hans, you're worried about like
The early game,
laning,
yeah.
and then Upset, it's
later.
definitely about matching later on.
Cap, sorry. We're just going off on the AD carry.
We love AD carry.
tangent.
We can talk
Yeah.
about the mids if you want.
Yeah, talk about the mids, and also do you think it's going to come down to a mid or an AD carry, or is it team fight, or is it top, or is it jungle? What is your vision on
Well, I
this?
definitely think they're going to have a bit different approach to mid lane than Misfits had, because Misfits were playing like Lulu, Galio, Malzahar, and trying to like neutralize mid lane. But I think Schalke, the mod team that will go like a really Yasuo and stuff like this, LeBlanc even, we kind of have similar champion pool, and I think it's going to be a lot of fighting mid, and I think the game will probably be decided around mid, just because, as you said, bot lane will not, a lot of things will be happening in the early game. Top lane is tank versus tank probably is, and that's why I think mid jungle is where the action is going to be. And I feel like we have the advantage, and I guess we just have to show it next week.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Can you just tell me about the fact that, you're going back now? I know your family is always visiting, so I guess they'll also be in Madrid, or?
They're here today as well, right?
And they're here
Yeah.
today?
Yeah.
They are so loyal. They come all the time. What's it going to be like for you to play in Madrid again? I remember when you guys went to Copenhagen, Rekkles thanked you for qualifying for finals, and then in the finals, he got the pentakills. So what can we expect on the big stage? Are you going to step up and grab a pentakill?
Well, I would definitely have wanted to have a pentakill on Vayne in the final, but
Yeah.
I guess it will maybe not happen now. But I wouldn't mind a pentakill. The only pentakill I ever got was in Challenge Series,
Yeah?
back when I played with Upset actually. And I wouldn't mind gaining one. So maybe if you let me get
Yeah,
one.
Rekkles, would you be happy if he got it?
I would, yeah. I don't feel like this is my split, so if I can share some limelight, I would gladly do so.
Okay, not your split. Then I do want to jump on that a little bit, because also in spring, then went to MSI, and it was then the cap show, and you were really disappointed with what you showed at MSI, I think, or quite not entirely happy.
I think, I don't know, I think all in all, I just started doubting myself between the finals and MSI, because I felt like for some reason the opposition would be better. But I think the right approach would have been to just trust myself. Like, I don't know why I even doubted myself in the first place. Like, I basically went from first picking Tristana every game to not even playing it.
Yeah.
And nothing happened in between. So I will obviously not make that mistake again for Worlds. I'm just going to stick to whatever I believe is good and what we believe is good. And then if that's not enough, then we can always try again next year. But it felt really bad when we went into MSI, and it didn't really feel like we even tried. We just kind of...
He tried.
I mean, obviously Caps played out of his mind, but at the same time, like as a team, we didn't really try because we didn't play good. Like as a team, we didn't play anywhere close to what we were doing in the spring finals. So for Worlds, I would like to see us as a great team again, where we're really solid all around, no weak spots anywhere, everyone plays all champs, and we just, you know, show our individual players in the specific moments. And in MSI, for example, Yasuo was one of our key picks, so Caps got to shine.
Yeah.
But also someone like wait, who were they again? Flash Wolves. Flash Wolves. They were kind of. I mean, you can kind of compare them to us, where they're maybe not as good as like the Korean or Asian teams in that sense, but they had their own identity, and especially in the early stages of MSI, they were winning every game because people were not used to playing against them, and they played really aggressive, and they had this plan of how they want to win the game, and it didn't feel like we had a plan of how to win the game. We just picked our champions and then played and tried to fight them if they went for us or go somewhere. But we didn't have a clear goal in our mind.
Yeah, but in spring finals, for example, we had the idea of just farming for late because G2 couldn't close it out. And I think if we did something similar in MSI, we could have definitely made it all the way. Like RNG was an unlucky draw in the semifinals, but we might as well have done better in groups, dodged them in the semis and played them in the finals instead. And that series was close. Like it was 0-3, but that series could have easily gone 3-2 or for them, obviously. But I think like 2 of those games were free wins.
It sounds...
Unless what did we even do?
It was because you guys were pretty competitive in the early stages. Caps was also making moves, so it kind of felt like it could go your way.
Yeah.
But I think you've dropped to RNG this way a couple of times already, right? So hopefully now you can take that step for any team you meet. If you get out of groups, let's be hopeful here as Europeans that you definitely get out of groups.
Have faith.
Caps, what would you want to take away from Worlds? What do you want to show at Worlds?
So we're going to Worlds no matter what, right?
Yeah.
And we're not going to go Gauntlet. So after Madrid, some of us are going a bit early and some of us will come later, but we have a long time to prepare a lot of different things. And obviously I won't say anything now, but we're definitely going to come in with a clear mindset. At least that's what I hope will happen. And we're going to come in with a plan and we're going to execute that plan. If that plan doesn't work because maybe the meta doesn't fit it or whatever, then that's life. But we're going to try our hardest and we're going to do something specific.
Okay, good. I'm actually sorry to pull it away from the finals because you guys are still playing the finals, and maybe that can be, I wouldn't say a test run, but this is where really is the most important match you're going to have played all split versus Sjokz. So hopefully a lot of the things that work there are also the things that you take with you further up. But it is no means a done deal, Ender. Do you want to already give your prediction, or how much of a chance do you give Sjokz?
So yeah, I sort of thought this was coming.
Yeah.
I'd go 15% chance. I think it would be a 3-0 or a 3-1. I really like Fnatic's chances in this. I actually predicted Misfits over you guys today.
So basically, we shouldn't take anything you say.
You should just not listen to me regardless, because I think I also messed up the prediction yesterday. No, but really, I thought Misfits would come in with like sort of like that 9-0 form, and I think it was sort of there, but not all the way. But it was gonna be close regardless, and I think that you guys, with both of you looking as good as you did in this series, that's just better than the 2 most important players on Schalke, which are Nukeduck and Upset.
Yeah, would you guys want to kind of comment on, like, Schalke's project was amazing, and amazing. Also, Amazing was very emotional yesterday, so I do find it really inspirational, the fact that they finally got this roster together and that they got there. It's a nice opponent to play. Their story is cool, but maybe yours is cooler. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, Amazing, last time he was in the final was back in the OG day, and back then they ended up losing to Fnatic, so... I guess it will end in the final again for him.
In the same way. All right, we have another match in Madrid that is Vitality versus Misfits for the 3rd place decider, which is huge because, just to set the stakes, Misfits cannot get 2nd seed on points. They'll be in the gauntlet no matter what. So their best chance to do good there is to win versus Vitality and then get a higher starting point if they can. And we need Rekkles to break this down because that gauntlet is so difficult.
Yeah, I also think that Vitality getting 3rd and then you guys winning would guarantee them the 2nd seed as well. Whereas if they lose, then Schalke would go forward. So that's a really important match specifically for Vitality.
That it is. What are your predictions for Misfits? Vitality? Misfits?
Yeah.
3-0, 3-1, 3-2.
I'm not going to be scared. I'm going to say 3-0, actually. I think they play the same game, but Misfits are better.
Do you think Vitality is just kind of collapsed and they won't get it together?
I think they have the identity in check. Like, I don't even think they're doing their stuff bad. It's just their stuff is not meta anymore. So when you pick Kled into a tank top, it just feels kind of off. And enemy bot lane will always do better if you send all your resources top, and the enemy team sends all the resources bot. Bot lane usually carries. Like that is the competitive meta, and it's been like this for a couple of years already. I think the only off time was actually the summer split where the AD carries kind of died out for a little bit, but otherwise I feel like bot lane is always going to be more important than top, because once you get bot tower, your support can basically take over the game and ward everywhere. Meanwhile, if you get your top lane out, at best he might like lane gank somewhere, but it's not really going to take over. So I think Vitality's style is just not meta, which is very unfortunate, obviously, because they do play it pretty well. But I think Misfits just do it better. Like they still play the aggressive kind of style that Vitality wants to do, but they do it towards bot instead of top.
Caps?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely put my money on Misfits as well. I think they showed up today. They showed up a lot better than I personally thought they would. And the fact that they took a game for us and they were also like competitive in some of the games definitely proved to me that they're better than the other bracket. So I would definitely say something like 3-0 as well to Misfits.
All right, we will see next week. Of course, we will be in Madrid on Saturday and Sunday with Ready Check starting 30 minutes before the first game on both days. So remember, it's not Friday, Saturday. It is a Saturday and Sunday. There's also more League of Legends coming up. Also in Spain, the Mad Lions versus Vodafone Giants are going to face off in the LVP Summer Finals. That is tomorrow at 4 p.m. You can find more information and watch it over at eu.lbolesports.com/LVP. So for now, we are going to close out the semifinal weekend and check out some LCS big plays from the semifinals, brought to you by Acer Predator. There we go. First up, yesterday, upset was everywhere on Ezreal. In Game 1, Vitality looked to have secured a big team fight win, but Sjokz AD carry had other plans.
But again, it does not matter, even if you get the perfect engage onto Amazing under a turret. If you do not get to the 2 carries in the back, you're going to lose. Here's the TP. They're going for the back line.
All right, but can they get there quickly enough? Amazing's coming over from the wall. Visitation's going very low. The teleport from Vandal, the Stand United rather, was cancelled. It's a 1-for-1. Top 4 support. That's a fantastic taunt! Turning it around. Vandal locks up Vitality, and Vitality are stunned by Sjokz.
And it's up to the line. It's not over. It's not over.
Stop it! Oh my God! Upset!
That was incredible.
Maybe, Kled. Don't go. One. Let's go. No flashes.
Let's go, Gabo! Oh, no!
Okay.
No.
It's fine.
So
He's dead. Oh my God. It's fine. Just kill him, I think. He has soon mount. Hey, don't get from the mount, Panda. Oh, He's dead from red, I think, no? No. Okay.
Good job, Upset.
Actually, both players played really well.
Oh my God, that was actually so insane. I was losing my mind on the desk and actually just watching, listening to their comms. They're all just like, did that actually just happen?
So
yeah, it just happened.
During this play now, you guys can hear, but Rekkles first went from, this is actually just Kled messing up or Kled missing it, to they were both playing that really, really well.
But it was unlucky though.
It was
because
very
he
unlucky,
just
yeah.
got auto-cancelled from demount, and then he misses Q by like, I don't even know how much. It looked like it was going to hit.
Yeah.
But I just missed it, and then I think Upset made the right call to go in again. I don't know if I actually would have made that call, because I thought he was going to die to creeps.
Yeah.
But I just jumped
He
in
got
anyways.
like 1 auto attack,
Yeah.
otherwise he was going to tick down to a burn from somewhere.
Yeah.
Who's a better Ezreal, you or Upset?
Oh, Upset, definitely.
Upset? Okay, there we go.
My Astral is not that great.
All right, cool. Well, we saw that tonight because you didn't go for Ezreal. You were backing your famous Tristana, and at IzzyJH said, Rekkles on Tristana and jumping in. What better combo would you want for a Game 1 of a Fnatic series? I agree.
Misfits Shockwave only hits on one hand. Salmon needs to get out of this because that Brawn passive's going to do a huge amount of work. There's one. Senko splashes straight into the arms of the Rekkles. It's flashing forward. Rekkles comes back for playoffs. He gets 1. There's the second. Superb stuff from Fnatic.
It's good fight. Just hit on the start. Force hold. Oh, just they don't want to fight. Really good ult. Hitting them all. But I can't go through ball. I can't go through ball. We can't go.
I'm Hourglass. We win.
Alistar's dead.
I'll flash.
Kallista's dead. No piece.
I got Ivan.
Nice.
Go.
I'm chasing Ori.
Sjokz is dead. I can call for Orianna. We can get Nash now.
With the knockup, Alfari not in a good spot at all. The Cho'Gath's done for, and maybe so are Misfits hopes. Rekkles! Holy moly, that's a lot of damage! That's why you bring Rekkles back into
Crit
the team.
RNG in your favor for the last
That's
one.
why I bought the Brawler's Glove. 400 gold for 20% crit.
Yeah, that's insane.
Pretty
Nice.
OP. Is Tristana for you the top tier AD carry?
Ooh, probably not. But I think my Tristana makes it a top tier ADC.
Okay, I think that works well.
Just discard game 2 and then look at game 1 and you're like, yeah. Finals, Rekkles Tristana, it's happening again.
Pretty good. Okay, let's see how many pentakills are played in the finals. But finally, Caps, yeah, him and his LeBlanc clones. No, Cap surprised everyone by picking Vayne for the first time in the EU LCS. And now it didn't go Fnatic's way at first, but then Caps turned everything around in the K8 team fight. This is a beauty. Let's take another look.
Rekkles is there. Boxer, Hillsang, and SOS joining them now. Caps on his way. Misfits, 4-man strong, pushing for the in-hit. Boxer's the one to step forward. Alfari will tank it up for the moment. Here comes Caps. Getting onto Alfari. With the 3-man knockup. Hero's entrance comes in. Another 3-man. Caps! Caps! Killed Hansama! And that is exactly what you want from your main man in a fight like this. Caps comes up huge!
I'm coming here.
We wanna fight together.
Yeah, I think this fight will be good.
Cyan is good.
We have Trundle on that.
Cyan. Cyan slowly.
He's stunned. He's stunned.
I think we might do it. I'm here.
We win.
Oh, I'm smart, man!
Holy Caps, I saw that. That was really sick.
Holy poggers!
Okay,
Keep focused, don't get caught.
We're moving.
Yes, I'm doing wave.
I can't believe you used poggers as an actual word.
I use poggers all the time. Don't judge us, Sjokz.
Oh, that is so funny.
It's Weaver's fault.
It's Vivo's fault?
Yeah.
Oh, that was like, we keep hailing it. Oh, yeah, you know, Caps won in the end. But you were one fight away from going down to match point.
Yeah, 1-2, yeah.
Versus Misfits. And I think, well, you guys are convinced you're better, and it seemed that you guys won. But that's a different
Actually,
story.
if we did go down 1-2, though, they have side choice and it could put us on red again. So
Exactly.
maybe that would have been...
Wait, they put us on red in 4th game.
Oh, yeah.
And then we would have side station game 5.
Yeah, but I mean, like, let's say we lose the 3rd game.
Oh.
Because game 4 was quite close, actually. Since we were red side, we didn't
Super
get, like,
close.
super good draft. But we still won in the end. I think, like, if we just chose blue side game 3, there's no way we lose series. But since we chose red, there was a way we lost that series.
TLDR, you got to thank Caps again.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Awesome. So that is going to be it almost from us here in Berlin. We're going to pack up and go to Madrid very, very soon, and we'll see you all there. But as we close things out here in Berlin, there's more League of Legends coming your way in the NALCS. Cloud9 versus TSM in their first semifinal, starting at 11 p.m. Then, if you didn't catch all the games from Fnatic versus Misfits, there would be a rebroadcast after the last game in NA. I just want to hang on that for a second. C9 versus TSM. Unbelievable with everything that happened in C9 in this split. They're back on it. TSM up against it. 5 games. What do you think?
It's insane. As someone that is from NA, that is like the 2 quintessential organizations from that region. There's nothing more exciting from it, even discounting all the backstory, but the backstory makes it even better.
Prediction.
Oh, prediction? I mean, there's probably a lot of TSM fans watching, so let's go TSM.
Who's the MVP of the match?
Bjergsen?
All right, there we go. Caps?
That's an easy one.
2 Danish mid laners. Again now, two Danish mid laners against each other 2 times in one day. Which one do I count on?
I'm saying C9, so you can say C9 as well if you want.
But C9 is the easy one. We need to go for TSM.
No,
I'll go TSM.
TSM is the bold prediction.
I'll go
That's what you
TSM.
got to
You don't
go
want
with.
to go for
I'm gonna go
TSM?
TSM.
They're not good. I'm not going TSM.
But I'm always wrong, so I'll go TSM.
I'm saying C9, but I don't know what score. Because I haven't seen I don't follow every regular season game.
Yeah.
You know? I've
C9
seen
were
some
like
games.
insane in the second half
Yeah,
of this.
I know they were really insane, and now TSM were not that insane. But then they won their quarters.
Yeah?
So, but I would still say C9.
All right, just don't want to
That's
pick
the smart
TSM.
choice.
Yeah, just no score,
We'll
because
see.
I don't know.
We'll see. Any final words before we head to Madrid? Or
See you in Madrid.
see you in Madrid? In
Yeah,
Spanish,
Let's
maybe?
get another trophy.
Let's get another trophy. I think that's a good one to end on.
And
That's
the
a
MVP
message
maybe
to
for my
Schalke.
boy. Hope so.
Oh, the MVP
And
for
a pentakill.
Caps in
It better
Madrid.
be.
And
It better
so
be a pentakill
all
and
you
MVP
want
here.
is another trophy, a pentakill for Caps, and
And
an
an
MVP for Caps. Okay, I mean, it sounds...
And then the morning after we go to Korea, like else can you ask for?
Should be easy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It sounds ambitious. So Schalke, you have your work cut out for you, and I'm sure you guys have an answer ready for everything that was said here. And I can't wait to see it in Madrid. That was all from us here tonight. Join us as we kick off the EU LCS Summer Finals next weekend. See you in Madrid.
See ya.
Adios.
I don't think they're ready for the semi.
I don't think they're ready for this semi.
But I think they're ready for Fnatic. Let's go! Woo!
Oh, Deficious hit.
This is a very serious game, guys.
Passive's gonna do a huge amount of work. There's one. Sjokz splashes straight into the arms of the Rekkles. It's flashing forward. Rekkles comes back for playoffs. He gets one. There's the second. Fnatic strike first. They're gonna team fight their way to victory and take a 1-0 lead over Misfits. There's bombs coming out from Camps as well, because one big one hitting onto someone can just chop. Oh, he went in! Yeah, just turns it back onto Camps. He's done! And Misfits have put all of their eggs in the Hun Summer basket. They put their faith in Callisto, and that faith paid off. It's 1-1. We'll lock him up. He just needed one more tower shot. Hun Summer jumps forward. That's enough. Hun Summer has the reset. The three-man knock-up. Hero's entrance comes in. Another three-man Camps! Killed Hun Summer! You see the Misfits want to do something now. They have the advantage. Camps jumps in onto Hun Summer, but the concussive blows. They just look for the stun lock. Hun Summer ignited. He's done! Fnatic are not done. Soaz going for the dive. Mickey going back to the fountain, followed by Alfari. Misfits are routed in the mid lane. And Fnatic running for the Nexus. They'll take it down, and the reigning champions will defend their title in Madrid.